Speaking of Samoa Joe, he has regained the AEW TNT Championship this week in a hellacious battle with Darby Allin. Holy shit, what a match. What a brutal, violent match. That hoodie with the thumbtacks on it. God damn. Such a good spot, though. I love that shit. He couldn't quite figure it out at the end with the coffin drop, but for him to come out at the beginning and like run and dive into Joe and stuff, just such great shit. Well executed, brutal, violent match. I'm curious to see what like a Jim Cornette has to say about that, because I know he loves him some Samoa Joe. Darby, not so much. Garbage matches, not so much, but I thought this was great. A very brutal, violent match. Joe's on a run. He is having a fucking great career resurgence here. And but this was not without controversy. You know, I don't often talk about wrestling stuff here on the show. This one made quite a bit of news this week. A lot of people commenting on the title, flip-flopping back and forth. Everybody's got their opinion on this TNT title switching back and forth like this. And everybody's saying, oh, this is burying the title. It's burying Darby. It's burying Joe. It's poor booking. It's bad use of whatever the fuck. Everybody's got their opinion about it, including Bully Ray on the Busted Open podcast this week. Had his own perspective on the title flipping back and forth. Check out this clip, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the back end.
Are you surprised that Joe, was able to get back that TNT Championship last night?
No, and I like when one championship constantly gets flip-flopped. And if you're going to flip-flop a championship, the television title is the one to do it with. You always have that aspect of anything can happen on any show in any city. People love when they get a title change. And since he has two television titles, the AEW and the Ring of Honor, it gives them the option where he can drop it at any time and get them back at any time. And every time he gets it back, he claims himself to be the king of TV. And I love that king of TV moniker. So yeah, flip-flopping that belt, I'd like to see it happen often. I don't think it hurts anybody.
No, I certainly don't think it should be flip-flopped every week or as often as Bully might be advocating for here. But a little back and forth now and then, there's nothing wrong with that. I see all these people online talking about how it's bad booking and burial. I think a lot of people listen to a lot of podcasts, watch a lot of interviews, and they think they know things, right? A little bit of information can be dangerous. You hear that it can be bad to flip the title back and forth. So when you see it happen, you're like, oh yeah, that's horrible. But you don't actually give it any fucking thought. Because, for example, if this was real life, like this shit happens in UFC quite a bit. Titles will flip back and forth. Because in real life, if you have two evenly matched people, and I'm not saying Darby and Joe are necessarily equals, but in their own way, like their video game stats or whatever would probably be similar, but in their own ways, right? Joe's a big, vicious, powerful, dangerous guy, but Darby's fast and high impact and caution to the wind, balls to the wall. Like, they can trade wins back and forth, and it's not going to hurt either one of them. And it's not going to hurt the title. Sometimes you need that. Another thing is you can't have every single title reign be a big fucking long 2, 3, 4, 5 month run. I think it should be the standard, but it shouldn't always be, because you don't want people to get used to just knowing that the title is not going to change hands. That creates that. Then there's no suspension of disbelief. You can't buy in to, if that, oh, okay, Darby just won the title, so Joe is not going to beat him in the rematch. That's not going to happen. So you don't fully invest in it. It's like, okay, I'll watch this. This will probably be a good match, but we all know Darby's going to win because they don't flip the title back and forth. This keeps you on your toes. It keeps you guessing. A little bit of this lets you know that a title can change hands at any time. That's why they used to flip the tag titles or whatever on house shows every once in a while, because people started to catch on that, oh, titles don't change hands on house shows. So we don't really need to pay attention to house shows. It only happens on big pay-per-views and that kind of thing. Hell, fucking Kevin Nash beat Bob Backlund for the WWF title at a house show. So they want to create the perception that anything can happen and that you can't just expect that it won't. That if you have a championship match, you could potentially see a title change. And for the people that are in attendance, that are watching live, it's a little bit different than the people watching week to week, right? People want to see a title change happen in their town on TV. They want to see something historically significant happen on their show that they're at physically. It's people, if you watch it every single week, it can get played out, but you certainly want to see it happen live. Now, I don't think it should be overused. I do think it is a slippery slope, and I do think it can devalue a title or devalue, the people fighting over it if it just keeps flipping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But a little bit of hot potato doesn't hurt anything. And I think some of you fuckers get a little bit too much information, but don't actually apply any kind of psychology to it. You know what I mean? Let the title flip back and forth a little bit sometimes. And especially like a Joe and a Darby. That's a great little rivalry going on. And look, Darby's never meant to hold the title anyway. He's a chaser. He's not a champion. He's not a dominant, I'm going to reign over you. You know what I mean? He is the kind of guy that he's great at fighting from underneath. He's the underdog. He's going to scratch and claw his way to the top. He might win the title, but he's not going to hold it because somebody's bigger and better is going to beat him down and he's got to fight from underneath again. He's a chaser. He's not a holder. And that's fine. That's his role. Not everybody's cut out to just be the Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? And not every title should flip-flop. I think, it's more acceptable with the undercard titles. Like when Cody inevitably beats Roman and ends his big long reign, I don't expect Cody to drop it back to Roman at the next pay-per-view or fucking lose it to, whoever the fuck else he's lined up to face next, Rollins, who knows. I would expect Cody to hold that title and have a nice little run with it. But it doesn't need to happen all the time. And I think people, like I said, you just get a little bit of information and you don't really think it through. Just, flip-flop titles is bad. No, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It happened all the time too in the 90s. The Rock flip-flops the title with like Mankind and it happens. So I think people are overthinking it. I think, and the only reason I bring it up is because I'm sure you've seen it. It's all over the internet. Everybody's critiquing this title change. It's like, God damn it. Plus, you don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. Like if a Wardlow was injured, that could have threw a wrench into things and caused them to change their plans and escalate things or do this little flip-floppy thing in the meantime to hold over. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Just relax your fucking tits. Everything is going to be okay. Joe's just fine. He's going to be just fine. He's the king of television, for fuck's sake. He's fine. He's in a good spot. Darby, he's certainly not buried, and the TNT title is just as valuable as it always was. So it's much to do about nothing, in my opinion, but it's worth mentioning because everybody's throwing a goddamn fit about it online for no reason at all. But maybe I'm wrong. That's just my opinion. Everybody's got one. Leave yours down in the comments below if you think I'm wrong or if you have another point of view on it and why you think every title reign should be a long-lasting reign and that you don't like the flip-flops. But you're just wrong.
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.